So, friends, the prosecution of Hunter Biden drives the final nail in the coffin of Donald Trump's claim that he, Donald Trump, is being politically persecuted, and it also defeats and debunks yammering Jim Jordan's incessant claim that the Department of Justice is being weaponized against Republicans. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, the virtually back-to-back trials of Donald Trump and Hunter Biden provide some of the most powerful, some of the most pointed, some of the most compelling arguments and talking points that destroy several of the BS claims made by Donald Trump and Mike Johnson and Jim Jordan and others. Let's start with some new reporting from the New York Times. Headline: Convictions of Biden's son and Trump put the justice system on trial. And that article begins, former President Donald Trump and his Republican allies have sought to delegitimize criminal investigations into his actions by declaring that Democrats have weaponized the justice system. That claim only intensified after a jury convicted Mr. Trump last month of 34 felonies in a hush money case. I don't know, friends. Maybe it's because I was a journalism major undergrad that, some of these typos tend to jump out at me. Like when articles say Donald Trump was prosecuted in a hush money case, when we all know he was prosecuted in a case involving his criminal conduct of falsifying business records to gain unfair advantage in the 2016 presidential election. So it really should be called an election interference case. All my editorial addition. The article continues, in pushing that weaponization narrative, they, the Republicans, have tended to ignore an awkward fact. President Biden has not stopped the Justice Department's inquiry into his own son. On Tuesday, the contradiction sharpened when a jury convicted Hunter Biden of 3 felony counts for lying about his drug use when he bought a gun in 2018. And some new reporting by CNN put an even finer point on it. Headline: Hunter Biden's conviction shatters Trump's persecution narrative. And that article begins, an unprecedented 2 weeks of legal drama that yielded historic convictions of a former president and a sitting president's son have also produced a clear political takeaway. The survival of the rule of law in America and untainted justice may depend on the choice voters make in November. The country's divergent possible paths under President Joe Biden or presumptive GOP nominee Donald Trump were highlighted in the way both men, their families, and their political operations reacted to the twin trials and verdicts. Biden made no effort to interfere in the prosecution of his son Hunter with either his executive authority or with the media megaphone of his office. He allowed his own Justice Department to secure a guilty verdict Tuesday that could result in jail time for the recovering addict, Hunter Biden, and hurt his, President Biden's, own 2024 campaign. Quote, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal, the president said after the jury found his son guilty of lying on a federal background check form and possessing a gun while addicted to or using illegal drugs. He has already said he won't pardon his son. In his first reaction to the verdict, Hunter Biden didn't attack the judge or the prosecutors, simply saying he was grateful for the love and support of his family and blessed to be clean again. The Biden's comportment contrasted with Trump's reaction to his own trial and conviction nearly 2 weeks ago in his hush money case, election interference case. Fixed it. The ex-president lashed out at witnesses, prosecutors, jurors, and the judge. He claimed that this was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt a political opponent. He blasted a rigged decision, despite the fact that the Justice Department was not involved in the case brought by the Manhattan District Attorney. Since then, Trump has been warning he'd use presidential powers to punish his political opponents and bend the legal system to his will. Quote by Trump, "Sometimes revenge can be justified," Trump told TV psychologist Phil McGraw last week. Quote, "I have to be honest, sometimes it can." The former president told Fox News last week, "I would have every right to go after them," referring to the Bidens. So friends, these back-to-back trials bring into such clear focus how each party feels about the rule of law. President Biden respects it and lets it run its course, unimpeded, even if it results in the conviction and possible imprisonment of his only living son. Donald Trump, well, this all puts the lie to Donald Trump's and Jim Jordan's claim that the Department of Justice is being weaponized against Republicans. Heck, the Department of Justice just prosecuted Hunter Biden, a Democrat, son of a president who's a Democrat. The Department of Justice is prosecuting Senator Bob Menendez, as we speak, a Democrat. The Department of Justice just indicted Representative Henry Cuellar, a Democrat. So it puts the lies to Donald Trump's claim and to Jim Jordan's claim. And I think we should use these facts, these arguments, these talking points to try to talk across the great divide. What do I mean by that? We're divided, right? Not exactly breaking news. In America, we're divided. We're polarized. We've chosen teams, right? We've chosen tribes. People will say it's us and them. I have always said in America, it's not us and them. It's all us. Different kinds of us, different flavors of us. People with different priorities, different ideologies, different political affiliations. But it's not us and them, it's all us. And yes, we are probably as divided as we have ever been. We hear that all the time. I happen to believe it's true at this moment in our nation's history, but that doesn't mean we should stop trying to talk, to communicate, to persuade across the great divide. I have heard people say that at least some of Donald Trump's supporters are behaving as if they're in a cult. And I think there is some truth to that, because Donald Trump is forever lying to them and grifting from them. And heck, he's damaging them more than he's damaging the folks who don't support him, right? I think there are a lot of similarities between Donald Trump's supporters and what we think of as cult members. And what do we do when people fall prey to a cult? We typically try to help them, extract them even from the cult if we're able. We try to talk with them. We try to use logic and facts and accurate information. We try to help them. We try to persuade them to help themselves. Think about one of the most infamous cults, the Reverend Jim Jones cult. And think about this. If you had the opportunity to smack the cups of Kool-Aid out of the hands of the cult members before they could drink that deadly concoction, would you do it? Would you do it even at significant harm to yourself? Put yourself in harm's way to try to help folks who have fallen prey to a cult, to lies, to deception, to grift? I'll bet the answer is yes. I know I would. You know, think about that when you're deciding whether there's any point at trying to continue to communicate with folks who are Trump supporters. Maybe your own friends or former friends, maybe your own family members, maybe your neighbors, maybe your coworkers, maybe your teammates. We try to help folks who either can't or won't help themselves. We try to help cult members. And I know that sounds like I am being demeaning of these folks, saying some of them seem to have fallen prey to a con man and his cult. But I think we still should, must, try to help folks who have fallen for Donald Trump's lies and his grift. And these talking points that we were just provided by these back-to-back trials are pretty darn compelling. No, you can't reach everybody, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to reach somebody or two somebodies or half a dozen somebodies, because people are peeling away from Donald Trump. I don't believe he's attracted one new voter to his cause since he launched a deadly attack on the Capitol on January 6th to try to criminally and unconstitutionally retain the power of the presidency. I don't think he has attracted a single new voter to his cause, but I know people are peeling away. I've talked with them. So let's try to talk across the great divide, and let's try to do it with empathy and with concern for folks who are caught up in a cult, just as if you had the opportunity to smack the cup of Kool-Aid out of their hand. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.